The task 2 will lead to a lot of interesting questions, a lot of interesting thought processes. And as a system thinker, you will have 5 issues you encounter when you do your task 2 for the circulatory system. First and foremost, how do you decompose a given system into entities? Well, it's a very difficult process, and it's up to the system thinker. At a very large hindsight, systems can be said to consist of either distinct elements or of modular elements, or they are integral. If the system is made up of distinct elements, it's very easy for the system thinker. You can easily demarcate them. Whereas, if they're made of modular elements, it's very, very difficult. And if they are integral systems, for example, the assignment that I've given to you, the circulatory system is an integral system. It will take all the effort for you to sit, think as a team, to actually come across and define proper entity forms, and from there, define proper entity functions. For example, an amplifying circuit have very dense connection of modules within, but these connections are weak between modules, and therefore, we have distinctive elements. I can easily split them. If you look at Team X, one of our examples, it consists of very distinctive people, and therefore, I can easily split them. Whereas, the circulatory system is a highly integrated system. For example, the heart, which is part of the circulatory system, is also something that does another function. The kidney, the part of the circulatory system which actually filters your blood, does another function. So, these systems are to be carefully handled. How do we handle it? We follow certain principles. First and foremost, you take a holistic approach. What we know as known unknowns and what we call as unknown unknowns. First of all, you try to write down all possible outcomes or all possible functions or all possible entities that can form the given system. And from there, you look at various perspectives, thinking explicitly about their context. What I mean by that? What is the form and what is the function? And there, you structure and unstructure using brainstorming. This is why it is a team effort, and you have to sit together as a team and brainstorm what are the various perspectives and why you'd call something in a given system as an entity, and does this entity give rise to an entitial function. In many cases, your teammates may disagree with you, you may disagree with your teammates, but always work as a team, and then let's see how each of you produce this. Now, one good thumb of rule to make sure that you get the entities correct is to focus. How do you focus? And the most important focus is, what do your stakeholders want? As a system thinker, you're always looking at a system to solve a problem. In this case, let me think, you are looking at the circulatory system from the perspective of a doctor. What does the doctor do? The stakeholders of a doctor is a patient. The patient wants to have well-being. Therefore, the doctor should always look at the circulatory system from the point of view of the emergent behavior of the system, which the patient wants. Or in other terms, what your customer needs are. This is the area of applied design thinking, which is a 4-mode concept at Forge and will be part of the next sprint. When you look at it, you have to separate the wheat from the chaff. You will have a lot of entities on your table, but you have to kick out most of those entities and look at those entities which actually give rise to entitial functions that in turn contribute and which are relevant to you as a system thinker and to your stakeholders as you as a system thinker. Always try to focus hard on the issue at hand. Try to find out what is that emergent behavior that is most important at hand and let go of anything that is easier to address. Once you focus, you'll be able to then abstract around these focused objects and then lead to what is called as the entities. Some of these entities will have intrinsic rather than details, which means that if you are able to take an entity and you are going to start writing down the nooks and corners of an entity, it is no longer an entity. It is intrinsic in nature. You are abstracting it already, or what we call as aggregation. Important to the system is that the system itself is said to be defined. You are still defining the parts or the entities of the system. In many cases, if you look at the systems that we have taken as examples, we have taken the liberty of defining what the system boundaries are. For all we know, we can say that the heart itself is a system on its own. The lungs by itself is a system on its own. But we have said that the circulatory system is a system that we have taken. It derives from that fact that systems are made up of smaller systems, or smaller systems in their own rights are systems by themselves. So it's important for the system thinker to always abstract. Abstract when required. Decompose to all the possibilities, but then abstract when required, so that the entities that you form make sense to you as a system holder and to your stakeholder for whose benefit you are studying the system. The last problem to a system thinker is to drawing boundaries. Well, as a system thinker, you are already very abstract, and we now know that it is very difficult to find the entities properly. Well, we are all humans, and we are limited by our capabilities, and we may have our own judgments. In many cases, when we draw boundaries, we don't get them correct exactly the first time, but it is an iterative process. A system thinker does not cease because he has created one model. He continuously updates these models on realities and the outcomes he sees on the field. When we draw boundaries, we have to clearly distinguish two things: what are called as external interfaces and what are called as internal interfaces. A system contains entities, and anything that these entities interact with each other are called as internal interfaces. Anything that these entities interact outside are called as external interfaces. These might be entities outside which are relevant to the system. For example, I cannot say my laptop is a system and that Alpha Centuria, the star, is an entity that interacts with my laptop. That's why we say the outside entities which are relevant to the system. As a system thinker, when you do task 2, you will come across a lot of different questions. I earnestly ask you to read through the text that has been given and then look at this presentation, because these questions will be very difficult to answer, and this presentation might be able to ease you to understand what are the 5 issues of a system thinker.